Okay, we are live. It is another Sunday night, and we have a special show tonight. So I'm going to let you guys get in here. If you are new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you have been here before, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button, please. And if you could share this out for me, it helps the channel grow. It helps other people just like you to see what we're talking about. So while we're waiting for people to get in here, I just want to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. So one of the things that keeps coming up for me in my practice is hormones, hormone disruption, chronic health issues, autoimmune issues, and we have to have the conversation about phthalates, which are plasticizers. They're used in fragrances, in so many places. We're going to break that down for you today and talk about where we find these and how they're affecting us. Hey, Rick, how are you? Welcome in. Hey, Peace Squared. Nice to see you guys. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for me. So been talking a lot about plastics and microplastics and forever chemicals. And today, what I wanted to do was actually go through your day and so that you can start to realize where all the exposure is. A couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, we talked about plastics and microplastics and how they are just everywhere. And so it really becomes this thing, it boils down to what can we do? What can we control? So when you have a list of what you're exposed to, you can start to see, okay, how can I control this? So, I did the microplastics episode and then I went into the office on Monday and I realized that, I have a 5-gallon bucket, not bucket, a dispenser of filtered water. It's reverse osmosis, and that gets delivered to my office once a month. So here I have this like great reverse osmosis, nice clean water, and I'm like, oh my god, it's in a plastic container. There are just we start to look around and we see that it's everywhere. We're just living in this toxic soup. So, what are the few things that we feel that we can do that will give us a little bit more power around all of the exposure? So, one of the things that I talked about, I think last week's episode was on labeling and food labeling and how you can't take for granted, you can't take at face value literally what a company is going to put on the front of their product because they're really just looking to they're looking for profits. They want you to buy their products, so they make it really pretty. They put deceptive claims on there. They're allowed to put deceptive claims, but as a chiropractor, there's a lot of claims I can't make that these people are making on their labels, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I made a claim like that, I'd have my license revoked. So when we start looking at what our products say, there's a term and it's called greenwashing. And so I want to read you guys the a couple of things about what greenwashing is. And this is how these companies get away with making you think that they have really good products. So, and if you have any questions, just drop your questions below. If you're curious about something that you're doing, is it safe? Is it not safe? But I'm going to talk about greenwashing and then we're going to start to walk through the day. And I have a whole list of all the different ways that we are exposed to different things. So let's see, there's our greenwashing. I have all these tabs open. Okay, so greenwashing is a deceptive practice where companies falsely portray their products, services, or policies as environmentally friendly to mislead consumers and investors into believing they are making sustainable choices. So greenwashing involves making unsubstantiated and misleading claims about a company's environmental performance or the environmental benefits of its products. So It's like green PR. So they have this green marketing, and they use these deceptive tactics to give you the impression that their product is green. So, like greenwashing, brainwashing. This term was coined by a 1986 environmentalist, Jay Westerveld. But greenwashing tactics include making false claims, making vague claims. So those are, I talked last week on labeling, where like if it says natural, natural is a very vague claim. And natural, like I would hope that the product you're buying in order to eat is natural. I really would hope that. So a lot of times, they'll put natural on there as a way you go, oh, it's natural. Well, it's food. It better be natural. Irrelevant claims, hidden trade-offs, and so what that means is they might like um, play up the positive, any positive uh, trait of that particular product, so that they can downplay the negative benefits, and they might not say anything. Is it this is very common in like the drug industry when you see the commercials and you see people riding their bikes and playing with their grandkids and having these really active lives, and then under the fine print is may cause liver failure and lung disease and cancer and even death. And it's like while they're still showing you what a great life these people live while they're taking this medication. So these are hidden trade-offs. There's when they focus on a small percentage of the product. So thinking of things like um, a product that is recyclable is not necessarily biodegradable. So when you're looking at that, you're like, "Oh, it's recyclable," um, but it may not be biodegradable. So if you don't, and I think it's like 80% of people don't recycle, so you just imagine, like, all of that goes into a landfill. So who cares if it's recyclable? And of course, like plastics are a big one, so they'll take plastics and they'll recycle them. I was scrolling online last night and I saw that there's these yoga pants and they're made out of recycled water bottles. Well, the more plastics you put against your skin, the more microplastics are going to absorb in your body. So, like, that doesn't sound great either. But people think, oh, recycled water bottles, that'd be great. I should get those because I'm doing something good for the environment. When in reality, it's actually damaging your health. So that is actually a claim on these yoga pants that they were making, that they're made from recycled water bottles. That means nothing to you. Like, that should mean to you, stay away, like, run really far, do not spend your money, do not order those, because all of those plastics, you're gonna wear them. They sound great for the environment, they sound great for you, but it's not great for you. Misleading packaging, this is where oftentimes they'll use green colors, or they'll put leaves, or like make the package really pretty so that to make you think that it actually has environmental or health benefits. And so those are, this really becomes a way for companies to mislead consumers, betrays their trust, and um, and it can be illegal. But when was the last time you really heard of a food company being sued over their label claims? They just kind of get away with it. So, um, so with that, that's why I thought, hey Bill, how are you? Hey Mark, nice to see you in here. Um, so with that, what we want to move into as we go further into labeling and our food, and then of course labeling is going to also play a role in our environmental products. So I do want to, I'll just tell you real quick. Bill and I went over to MI Gardner this past week, and we helped Luke craft apples, and it was super awesome. We had a really fun time. It was great to see his operation, and Bill's just a master at crafting, so that was really fun. Um, Rick says plastics are a byproduct of fuel production. So then, what to do if with it if it's not used to make bottles? Catch 22. Yeah. I mean, and then it's all the petroleum products that just get into the um, landfills, or go into the is the call it the plastic island, or garbage island, or something like that. Hey, Silly Lily, nice to see you in here. Welcome in, my dear. Um, yeah, so, I mean, plastics are a major issue, but that one made me laugh. They really about the yoga pants being made from recycled water bottles, and I was like, "Oh gosh, people are gonna buy them because they're gonna think they're doing something good for the environment when it's really gonna harm their own health." Um, so what I wanted to do is, talk a little bit about we're gonna, yes, it was, yes. It was fun being at and actually, we weren't at Luke's farm. We were at his store, and, in his store, he's got quite an operation. I mean, he's shipping everywhere, shipping plants and seeds, and, yeah, it's quite the operation. It was very fun. Oh my goodness. It's all about the biology. Hey, how are you? It's so nice to see you in here. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, Luke's farm is like it was like 20 minutes from where we were, so we didn't have an opportunity to go see that. But, yeah, so and I think Silly Lily, you found me from Ken's channel, right? I feel like or Joe, I was just over on Joe's channel, uh, um oh my gosh, Sunday Fun Day. I was joined a little Garden State Gardener Sunday Fun Day for a few minutes. He's changed his schedule, so make sure you're watching for him. He's talking about seeds and getting things started now. So Ken said, "I'm great. I want you to come back on the show." Okay, I would love to. That would be great. I was just thinking about you the other day because you had somebody on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I needed to go back and watch that one." So yes, please send me an email. We'll get that set up. I would love that. Um, yes, you're just having fun with Ken. It's great. I love it. So what I'm gonna do, let's go to get to my notes here. Let's talk about phthalates, and the biggest thing with phthalates is they are hormone disruptors. So what that means is that they either block or mimic something that your body is supposed to be doing. So they really cause damage to your body's ability to function on its own. And we see things, chronic health conditions, autoimmune issues, hormonal imbalances. This is particularly of value and interest to my perimenopausal women, my menopausal women who they just feel like their hormones are raging out of control. Honey, can you let the dog out, please? Thank you. And so they can regular exposure can cause infertility, asthma, allergies, migraines, skin conditions, eczema, any kind of rashes, um, any kind of hormonal disruption, irregular menstrual cycles. It can cause a decrease in fertility for men and women. So we see a lowered sperm count in men who are exposed to phthalates and all of these hormone disruptors. And then in addition to that, just chronic inflammation. So if you have chronic, uh, you know, joint pain, joint aches, anything inflammatory. So like high blood pressure is inflammatory, high cholesterol, those are inflammatory processes. And then just even like swelling, I'll see patients come in and I can see like wrists are a real telltale. I can see puffiness around the wrist or like socks. If you have a sock, and you pull your sock off and you see the rings ring lines. So wrists and ankles are a real tell if you have inflammation, and so you'll want to pay attention to that. So if we can start to get rid of these phthalates, and they're actually plastics or plasticizers, and what we need to do is look at where we can start to eliminate. So phthalates are they're synthetic chemicals. They're widely used to make plastics softer and more flexible. They help fragrances stick around longer. So you're going to see these in so many places. So candles, your Glade plugins, your room sprays, and then anything plastic, they're going to be in there. Anything that has a scent in it is a phthalate. So your laundry detergents. You'll hear me say this over and over: is that your laundry detergent is probably the biggest insult, period, because that scent. I mean, walk down the laundry detergent aisle. That's just as bad is going through the perfume section of them all, in my opinion. It's all such an assault on our brain, nervous system, I will automatically feel like a scratchy throat. And it's really it's interesting when you start paying attention to that. You walk down that aisle and suddenly you get extra mucusy. You gotta like clear your throat or something like that. That's from that exposure. It can happen that quickly. Um, so be super mindful of these scents, these dyes. I will say start with your laundry detergent, eliminate that and go for something that is cleaner. But now I'm going to talk next week about what are the things that we can swap out because today we're going to talk about all the different ways we're exposed. And I need to give you guys a solution. And I'll give you a few solutions as we go throughout the day. But I also get that, you don't just wanna hear doom and gloom and hear like, "Oh my god, you can't do all these things anymore." But, we give you an exercise to do in the meantime. So what I want you to do before I really dive deep into it, or you can go back and listen to this again, is get a pen and a paper, start to keep a list as I go through this of all the different places that you're being exposed. Now, if you don't wanna do that, you can also email me, that's in show notes, and just say, "Send me the phthalate list or toxic chemical list," however, if you can't spell phthalate, or just do it phonetically. And I will, I have the list, I've gotta just kinda create it, make it look pretty, and then I can email that over, and it'll be like a little checklist that you can go throughout your day. Um, Silly Lily says, "I've been clearing out plastics in the kitchen, and we'll be getting rid of the coffee maker, scalding hot water and plastic does not mix, getting a SS stovetop percolator, stainless steel stovetop percolator instead." Yeah, they have the glass and there's the glass ones with stainless steel filter, and then there's stainless steel. Um, yeah, we've got a Breville, a cappuccino machine, and it's great, except the water hopper is plastic, and I just noticed that last week when I was doing the whole thing on plastics. I was like, "Dang it, I thought we were doing good." I'm not sending it back, though. I draw the line on that. We love our cappuccino. Um, but it's hard, isn't it, so Lily? Like, just trying to figure out where all the darn plastics are, and the the Keurigs, oh my gosh, if you have a Keurig, if you have any kind of dispenser that is running hot water through plastic, through your little plastic, pods, you gotta get rid of it. It's gotta go bye-bye. You have to figure something else out. So, you could do, French press is actually one of my favorite, alternative ways not alternative, I French pressed before I got my cappuccino machine. Um, so I love French press. Hey, Rudy, nice to see you here. Thanks for being here, my friend. And let's see, 5 PM Central. You are Central Time. Okay, you're 1 hour behind. Uncle Al, we've got Uncle Al in the house. Oh my gosh. I just saw you over on, I want to say we're a big Garden State Garden. And yes, stay away from the pretty candles. There are chemical soup beeswax candles only. And then, of course, essential oil diffusers instead of Glade plugins. And you can make, like I took a bottle and I put orange blossom water in it with a couple of extra drops of neroli, which is orange blossom. And so that's just makes a great spray. So yeah, six likes and 8 watching. Okay, who didn't check in? So if you did not hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up. Make by former Nerve Gas Company. Um, what is it? Tell me more, Uncle Al. Ziploc storage bags. Yeah, so I do have to admit that if I wanna freeze things, so you really shouldn't heat or freeze in plastic. But sometimes during food preservation, it's it's the only thing. Like, you kinda have to go this is a pick your battles kind of a thing. So, I do have a lot in my freezer in Ziploc because it's not time, it's space effective. So yeah, and I don't have enough glass containers to put everything in. So, but good question. Um, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go through the list. So we just talked about how these phthalates can affect our health. So if you have anything autoimmune, any kind of inflammatory issue, again, fertility, thyroid, mood swings, weight gain, asthma, sleep issues, any kind of, oh gosh, anything really, you're going to want to pay attention to this. So let's talk about, go to my list here. So here's where you're going to start keeping your notes, or you're going to email me to get the list. So we talked about laundry detergent and how that's, you sleep at night or pajamas, you're sleeping in the sheets with the covers, the pillow, everything's been washed in the laundry detergent, so you're completely encompassed. And also, let's not forget dryer sheets. Get rid of the dryer sheets, they're horrible. You can get the those wool fabric balls, and you can just put essential oils on them and throw those into your dryer. I've bought many of them over time, and then my dogs steal them, so I don't even use anything in the dryer. So if I happen to find one, I'll throw it in there, but haven't seen one around for a long time. It's probably buried in the backyard. So that's your first is you're gonna I think that's pretty easy for everybody. But then also when you're looking at the laundry detergent, I'm gonna look further into this. This will be part of my research for you for next time, is to find you what are the clean sources. I'm gonna be going to the environmental working group. I'll look at go over there right now, and we can see, they'll have a good list of what's good for us, where we can. Let's do a laundry detergent. Here. So you can go to Environmental Working Group, ewg.org, and you can start to see what kind of swaps that you can make. So I will look through here. It's not giving me right off the bat, but they will have it on there. So I'll make sure I get that for you guys for next week. So, hey, there's Joe. Nice to see you, my friend. Long time no see. Just trading views from one channel to the next. So yeah, so we really want to start looking at swapping out that laundry detergent. Now, let's go through the day. You wake up in the morning, you go and you brush your teeth. Your toothpaste is full of toxic chemicals. So it's full of forever chemicals, and it also has those phthalates in it. So it can create a disruption in the microbiome of your mouth. And then, of course, that will set the tone for your microbiome in your gut. And then if you use mouthwash, any kind of washes, and then if you're flossing, a lot of people will just be like 90% of people lie to their dentist that they floss. But flosses have plastics on them that are phthalates also. So you can buy phthalate-free dental floss. And so your toothpaste, your dental floss, no mouthwash. If you're like, you have really bad breath, that's coming from your gut, and that you need to take care of that from your gut. That's no amount of mouthwash, gums, mints, or any of that is going to fix bad breath. That is coming from your gut. That is a bacterial overgrowth, it's yeast, it's fungus. It could be a slew of different digestive issues. We need to heal that from the gut, fix the gut microbiome and the oral microbiome in order for those to live in synergy together. So, so then we move to shampoos and conditioners, and those typically have the scents and dyes in them, the plasticizers, our body washes and soaps. And then for men, we would have shaving cream or whatever they're going to use on their face, maybe aftershave, facial washes, toners. The average woman uses either 165 or 168 toxic chemicals every day. The average man uses about 85. So now we start to go, oh my gosh, now it starts to add up. Moisturizers, lotions, deodorants, your hair products, your mousses, your gels, your any styling products whatsoever. ever, hairsprays, and then, of course, for women, our makeup, our, foundation, mascaras, lipsticks, anything that goes on your face can actually also have heavy metals in them. Um, the FDA took out the, red dye from makeup back several years ago, and they left it in our food system, and now, of course, they're finally like, "Oh, yeah, maybe we should take it out of our food system now too." Um, and then, of course, perfumes and colognes, if you're finishing up, getting ready to head out the door. Then you go into your kitchen, and you go and you get your coffee maker. So we just talked about coffee being a huge, um part of these plastic, so it could have plastic components. If you go to get a coffee from your favorite coffee shop and you've got hot coffee in uh, one of those paper cups, the lining of the cup has these plasticizers in it, has these phthalates. So as soon as you put that hot liquid into the cup, you are now liberating those phthalates, and now you're drinking them. So again, that is a huge toxic load. Will create a just massive inflammation and contribute to brain fog and your inability to think clearly, and of course, hormone disruption, and then sleep issues, and the cycle continues. Plastic water bottles, can't stress enough. We've got to just start saying no to plastic water bottles, getting yourself stainless steel water bottles, and filling your own water with that. Just stop the plastic. Just think about, like, we never walked around with plastic water bottles. I mean, when I was growing up, we just didn't. We didn't have plastic water bottles. So, um, yeah, I had to put water in a jar and take it with me if I wanted it. So, um, and then plastic food containers and plastic wrap. So here's where, like, um, you go to the store and you buy your produce, and you put your produce in a plastic bag. This is all phthalates. Um, Nonstick cookware and utensils. I did a whole video on nonstick cookware and forever chemicals. And then, of course, packaged foods and processed foods. A lot of our processed foods can have these toxic chemicals in them. So we want to avoid that as well. Uncle Al says most food cans have a plastic liner. And yes, so you can look, 'cause a lot of some cans will say BPA free, which is bisphenol, and that's a forever chemical. But, um, some cans you can recognize, like, if you open it and you see metal, then yes, it's BPA free. But there's a lot of canned organic products that have the liner in it, the BPA liner, and they'll come up with some other, they'll say BPA free, but they're using some other type of toxic bisphenol product. So, again, that's part of that greenwashing, right? We talked about one of those definitions was they'll play up something in order to downplay another thing. Now, what got swapped when, like, you saw, like, all the plastic water bottles and, was the BPA free, and, like, the plastic, travelable water bottles. They just swapped it. They just put another chemical in it, which was on the generally recognized as safe list, and because they were told, they're like, "Oh, yeah, you can't use this anymore because it's toxic." What they replaced it with is still just as toxic, but they don't have to tell you, and now they're just like, "Okay, it's BPA free, so go for this. Smoke and mirrors. Don't look over here, don't look over here." Um, Louie Lily says, "My goal is to replace plastic containers with glass, and the most it'll have is plastic tops to start to clean your kitchen," and I agree, and that's one of those, like, you have to pick your battles, like, how you have to cover it somehow. So yeah, there's only so many ways we can get around it. So minimizing it at all costs is really what we're looking to do. Okay, so now let's talk about, we get in our car and we drive to work. Um, I hope that you don't have any of those little air fresheners from the car wash. So get rid of those. Glade also has, so the Glade plugins that you put in your home, they also have those little plugins that you put on the vent of your car. So when you put the air on or the heat on, it blows that toxic chemical straight at you. That's straight up phthalates. You breathe that in. Again, you're talking inflammatory brain, inflammation to your nervous system, and it can really wreck your ability to be productive because you can't think. It's gonna disrupt sleep, it's gonna disrupt energy, it disrupts your hormones. So you just have to get rid of those altogether. You can buy, like I have an essential oil diffuser thing, and actually the one I have, it goes into like the USB port or something. It heats up, and you put a drop of essential oil in it, so it will scent your car, but using essential oils. Um, Vinyl flooring and carpeting. So if you get new carpeting, that's gonna off gas for a while. So you wanna try to, if you have to paint your house or you have to get new flooring or new carpeting, you wanna try to find the lowest, what's called VOC, volatile organic compounds, as possible. Going back to sleeping, your mattress. A lot of people ask me about buying mattresses, and so you want to actually look at those textiles. There's a certification called CertiPure or higher, and that means that it's not going to off-gas formaldehyde and other toxic chemicals. So as long as it's CertiPure or higher, you should be good to go. I'm not gonna say it doesn't have some off-gassing, but it's minimal. It has to have this certain standard to be CertiPure or higher. So you definitely wanna look at that if you're buying, um, mattresses, pillows, textiles of any kind. Look for that. And you can go to the CertiPure website, CERTI dash PUR, I think. Let's see, what that is. Because if you have to buy a mattress, I mean, that's a big investment. So you want to make sure that you're um, not going to sit in a toxic soup. Okay, there it is there. So let's see what Silly Lily says. Um, exactly, because it's a buzzword that garners a lot of attention and concern. They'll do a bait and switch, 100% they will. And yes, it's crazy. I know the whole what's under the microscope is frightening, so frightening. Bugs in our food. Ugh, my gosh. Um, Silly Lily says, note to self, get rid of plastic cutting boards. They're the worst before you cut with a sharp knife and plastic. Yes, I know. My daughter we have one and I'm using it less. My daughter keeps yelling at me that we have to throw it away. One of the things I do is I have that rubber shelf liner, and I have a big piece of that, and I put it under my wooden cutting board because the problem with the wooden one is it slides all over the place. So I put it under the wooden one so it sticks. That's what I loved about my plastic one because it has rubber around the bottom of it and it sticks to it doesn't move. So that was how I was able to get around making sure that my wooden cutting board doesn't slide around. So, and yes, Uncle Al, same goes for couch and sofa too. You can look up that certification, and it will. So this is Certipure certified foams are made without formaldehyde, made without ozone depleters, made without phthalates, regulated by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, made without mercury, lead, and other heavy metals, low VOC, those volatile organic compounds, emissions for indoor air quality, screened for relevant chemicals, including flame retardants that are classified as carcinogens, mutagens, and reproductive toxins and are harmful to human health. And so this is really a great first place to go. And this is like their foam. So how to choose a mattress, how to choose upholstered furniture, how to choose a pillow, how to choose a dog bed. Um, so I would highly encourage you guys to go to that website if you're interested in learning a little bit more. Bill says, I've thrown away plastic water bottles. Yes, good job. And then we go to stainless steel, and then we just fill, fill your water bottle. on your stainless steel water bottle. So, I found glass cutting boards. I had one at one point, and that did not feel safe to me. My knife kept slipping on it. Wooden feels a lot safer. I just wanna keep my fingers. So, yes, I did teach her well, P squared. I sure did, I know. So, um, so Mark says they have titanium cutting boards now. Interesting. I've not seen those, Mark. That I'll have to look that up. I wonder if that would have the same issue as the glass. Uh, so Lily, have you used the glass cutting boards? Because again, I'm like, I just wonder if titanium would, of course, I guess titanium wouldn't be that much different than like stainless steel, like if you're cutting on stainless steel. Not sure. Um, and Uncle Al said beds, couch, and sofas make great fire starters. Yeah. Ken says, you need to start thinking about writing a book, title All Things That Are Organic. Oh my gosh. I have been wanting to like write a book for so long, Ken. So yes, thank you. Thank you for the prod. I think that I have to just sit. I feel like I need just like a weekend away and just kind of sit and figure it out. Um, so Lily says, yes, she likes the glass cutting boards. Um, use a cotton mat under the wooden cutting board. Yeah, the one I have is it's like rubber that I use under there, so it just keeps. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my list. So that was yeah, furniture, so printers, electronics, um, also your Christmas lights full of lead and all kinds of chemicals. So when you touch those cords and wires, you want to make sure you are either wearing gloves or make sure you wash your hands really well after you get done touching those. So yeah, printers, electronics, the plastic casings, again, the smell that comes off of that. Also, we talked about so with printers and electronics, we talked about this. I think maybe when I did the microplastics video that when you get your carryout container, with food, those black carryout containers, there's recycled plastic from electronics that's full of lead. It's full of heavy metals, it's full of toxic chemicals, and somebody figured out how to recycle them so that we could use it for food carryout. So, it's much like how, Crisco became a thing because the war ended and they had all this cottonseed oil left over and they more tanks and machinery to lubricate. And so they're like, hey, let's wash it and make it white and make it look like food and tell people that it's food. So yeah, that's how we got our first hydrogenated vegetable oil there. So Mark says, I don't have one, but it's probably not as slippery as glass. Okay, interesting. I have to look for that. Um, Peace says, ever since you told me about grocery receipts, I cringe when I see that. I know. And then what I hate is when they, they put your money on top of the receipt and they put the and I'm always like this. I'll go, "Just put the receipt in the bag and hand me my money." I'm like this. I pull like I'm like a T-Rex in there, like, don't like, I can't stand that. And also, when I was growing up, I was a cashier. Count my money back. Can I just do a little sidebar there? Count the money back. That's how you're supposed to do it. Don't just put a pile of money in my hand and tell me that's my change. Like, I will stand there and I will count my money to make sure I got the proper amount of money. And there's often times where they don't give me the right amount back. So, yeah, people need to learn to count your money back. Okay, I digress. Bill says, "Have to dig out my old wooden cutting board. Seems like titanium and glass would dull your knives." I feel like that too. Which also, Bill, I was thinking about you the other day and that leather strap for sharpening. I have a sharpening, stick. I have a couple of them, but they don't seem to do very well. I'm wondering if a leather strap for sharpening would be, better. The glass cutting board is not smooth, it's textured. Yeah, like I say, I've seen them. I've used them in places, and like I said, the knife slips on me, so it does not feel too safe. Um, and Peace Word, I like, yeah. Oh, I think you're probably laughing about the my T-Rex comment or Count My Money Back. Blame the Germans for, Crisco after World War One. Yep, exactly. Um, Mark Mark says, "Yeah, count it back. Count the money back." Okay? Yeah. Yeah, it was submarine grease. Yeah, it was grease for everything. Um, Wood boards need to be end grain, less bacteria. Really? Okay, that's interesting. I have to look that one up. Um, did did not know that. He's laughing about you not wanting. No, I don't wanna touch the receipt, which the money is probably just equally as disgusting, right? So, I just didn't even think about that. I mean, money's pretty darn gross depending how many hands it's touched. But yeah. No, they put the money on top of your receipt, they put the receipt on your hand. So, your husband used to make them. Well, tell him to make more. I love a good homemade cutting board. Okay, so now let's go back to, um okay, so now we're gonna talk about our cleaning products. Cleaning products, your detergents, your disinfectants, your sprays, your soaps that you're using for your dishes, things like that. Um, and so, Silly Lily, right on cue, my dear. Use vinegar full strength to clean cutting boards. So I use diluted vinegar, about quarter to a half a cup in one of those Zep bottles you buy them at Home Depot. I add water and I put a couple of drops of essential oils. That I use that for everything. I clean my floors, my counters, and then I use baking soda to clean the sinks and the toilets. Anything that I need to scrub with, I use and the tub. So that's all you need. And when you think about like how cost effective that is, like it's cheap and it goes a long way, and it's not going to cause harm to you or your pets. You think about, gosh, I know people who spray bleach, clean, like countertop spray that has bleach in it. Well, then you're gonna come along with your food and you're gonna put that on top of your counter. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Bleach is also, yes, please send me pictures. I would love to see that. Bleach and all bleach-type products are, they are asthmagens is their classification, and what that means is that if you have asthma, it will get worse, um, and then if you don't have asthma, it can cause it. So bleach is actually, and then people, they buy, go to Home Depot or not Home Depot, where is it? Costco, and buy the pack, the bleach, toilet bowl bleach, whatevers, and then they spray it, and then you're inhaling it. Like, it is just horrible. You need to, eliminate it at all costs. So, um, and yes, P Squared is calling me out. Using my plastic water bottle to clean, not to eat out of. So, um, Germany failed to sell Crisco is female body lubricants. They sold it as cooking grease, as healthy food than lard. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, they were probably just trying to offload it any way they could, right? So Lily says, I do the same vinegar and water solution for general household cleaning. However, when it comes to the cutting board, I use full strength because you cut raw meat on them. Yeah, for sure. I think it's absolute best. Um, Hey, Joe, thanks so much for jumping in. I appreciate you being here. I did send you an email. My phone has been deleting phone numbers. So I sent you an email to say, text me and let's get something on the books. Joe has invited me over onto his channel. So I want to make sure that we get that on our calendars. That'd be so much fun. We're back, baby. Um, Everybody's saying about it, Joe. And Mark says there was just a recall on that. You know what? I saw that and I looked that up, and that was actually from Fabuloso. Yeah, that was from like 4 year, 2019 maybe, 2020. So Yeah, when I looked it up, I was like, "Oh my gosh." So yeah, it was from a few years ago, and apparently they've changed the formula. But again, they probably just swapped, smoke and mirrored us, swapped one thing for the next. Okay, so cleaning products for sure, we can swap those out. Laundry detergents, we talked about that. Eliminating your dryer sheets. No air fresheners, plug-ins, sprays, candles. Children's toys, this is a big one too. So plastic dolls, action figures, teethers. I mean, everything for kids is plastic, so they don't break it. But it's like, if we can use like untreated, like, um, you know, wooden blocks. I mean, my mom, like, she's had a set of wooden blocks when she was a baby. Like, that's just what they grew up on. So, and all of these, gosh, there's so many newfangled things now for these, for young parents, and it's like, oh my gosh, the Bluetooth baby thing that they can control, the bouncy thing that they can control with their phone. And so you're just enveloping your baby and all of these EMFs, like it's crazy. Um, Pet products, so plastic toys, plastic bowls. Again, use stainless steel. Try to make sure that you're getting toys and things that don't have they're just like low chemical. Um, Yoga mats and exercise equipment. So again, anything vinyl and soft plastic. So now we've come full circle. We've come home, and our nighttime exposure, we're going back to our toothbrushes, flosses, our coated flosses, facial wipes, makeup removers, night creams and serums. Again, synthetic bedding and pillows, sleep masks and earplugs. So your sleep mask, your CPAP machine, and earplugs. Just, so you can see how this just builds up over time. So how are we gonna do this? We're gonna pick the things that we can control. It can get super overwhelming, but what I hope from today's episode is that you can start paying attention to how much we are surrounded by all of these toxic chemicals, and then just do your best. That is all I ask, is that you just do your best. Um, Uncle Al, thanks so much for being here. It's great to see you again. So, appreciate it. So yes, so just doing your best, that's all I ask. And but I think the easiest thing for everybody to do is start with the laundry detergent, the dryer sheets, and then get rid of the gray Glade plugins. I think those are easy places for us to start. But you can also look at the label for phthalate free, but again, you're gonna wanna make sure you're not being greenwashed. Um, Fragrance free. I heard somebody talking in the store the other day about, um he was saying, no. I was actually at a friend's office who's a chiropractor, and this guy was talking about how, he had a rash, and he broke out into the rash after he had a massage, and he was thinking it had something to do with if the massage therapist changed the lotion or something like that. So then, he said, oh, the assistant asked about his laundry detergent. He's like, "Oh, I use Tide Free and Clear." And I was like, so Tide Free and Clear, just so you guys know, it's just a whole bunch of chemicals, and then they take other chemicals and they put it in there to make it unscented. So they just have to balance out the chemicals. So, and then they just tell you that there's certain chemicals that aren't in there, but it's really still a toxic soup. So don't fool yourself if you're buying a free and clear Tide. Trust me, like, eh, you're still getting a whole bunch of crap. Um, so again, trying to go fragrance free, choosing glass or stainless steel, using more natural cleaning products. We talked about that. And then airing out your home. I really want to stress this, that it's going to start getting warmer here soon in Michigan, and hopefully wherever you are at. And open the doors and windows, air out your home. It's so important. So many people, the doors and windows are constantly closed. The spring will come, the air conditioning will go, they'll never open a window because now it's springtime and the pollen's flying, so they don't wanna open the doors and windows because of allergies. And then the doors stay shut, and then the air conditioning goes out. Like, the doors and windows never open, you have to air out your home. You've got to let your home breathe. You need to spend more time outside. Open your drapes, open your curtains. Like, we have got to expose ourselves to, um, to more fresh air. Your home needs to be that way as well. The fire chief in our city said those plugins are the number one cause of household fires. Wow, isn't that interesting? I did not know that. Silly Lily says, "I can't wait to put the laundry out in the line to dry." I know, it's the best, isn't it? Ugh. Kenny, where have you been, my friend? We're, like, almost ready to wrap it up. But hey, better late than never. Always good to see you here. Um, and yeah, I know. So, yeah, putting your, my gosh, taking the blankets and putting them outside and letting them air out. Um, you could take a bottle of water with essential oil in it and spray your comforter outside of your blankets and, freshen them up that way. But I just love the smell of fresh air, like, that if you could bottle that and not put a phthalate to it, it'd be amazing, right? So, I know, we missed you, Kenny. Always good to see you. Kenny says, "I'm a stalker from random, but always lurking." Hey, as long as you're hitting the thumbs up button and, sharing this show. So, I don't care where you watch, where you look from. So you guys, if you have questions, just go ahead and drop your questions, and like I said, I'm gonna, put together a few things for us for next week. We're gonna talk about some swaps that we can make that would be a little bit more simple for us, and you know, a again, I don't want this to be like a doom and gloom, "Oh my gosh, we're living in a toxic soup and we can never get out." We just have to be mindful. That's all I'm asking you to do, is start to be more mindful. Control what you can control, don't make yourself crazy over it, and, just, do your best. So that's all anybody can ask of you, is just, do your best. Because if you can do what you can inside your home, um, with your environment, with your food, then that is going to do so much when it comes to, we can't control what they're putting in our environment, what they're spraying in the skies, what your neighbor is spraying on their lawns. We can't control any of that. So, you need to just think about yourself and control what you can to make yourself and your family healthier. Um, so Lily says chlorella binds to toxins, heavy metals, and flushes out your system. Yeah, there's a lot of different, um, that's probably, I talked about detoxes. I did detox with the doc back in January. So we talked about that and how to detox. But I think it would probably be, as we come into spring, this is really when we think about springtime, this is really when think about setting resolutions. We can't call it a New Year's resolution anymore. But think about a resolution. It's springtime. The weather's changing. Everything's opening up and blooming. You wanna be outside. Like, you're so much more motivated to to do things that are going to serve you better with your health and, start to, just get out and move more and eat more fresh foods. And so this would be a great time to revisit the whole detox pathways, simple things that we can do for detoxifying. Michigan is actually one of the states that has the highest level of heavy metals in the air because of the pollutants from our factories. So we are all walking around probably toxic and heavy metals, lead, aluminum, any of the shots that you might get that, your flu, any of those other injections, those all have aluminum and other heavy metals in them. So, that's you gotta consider that. If you're somebody who you're like, "I get my yearly shot," whatever it is, got aluminum in it, you guys. It's got a whole bunch of other toxins in it, and you're putting that straight into your body. And again, if you've got any kind of chronic health issues, you've got to pay attention to these things. Um, so, um, so yeah, I think, probably adding something in there about detoxifying would be helpful, Silly Lily. And let's see, if you use spirulina, be aware it has pseudo B12, which parks itself in the endocannabinoid system and doesn't allow natural B12 to be absorbed. B12 is crucial to your health. I did hear that recently. I was unaware of that, to use chlorella and not spirulina. I did not know that about the, because that's like an endocrine disruptor, right? When you think about it, it's like, yeah, we need B12 for brain function, for everything. And so it can definitely, if you have things that are taking up space where, and I like how you said parks itself, because that's how I say that, like an endocrine disruptor is like a lock and key. It goes in and it just sits there, doesn't do anything, doesn't turn anything on or turn anything off. So yeah, thank you for that reminder, and I do need to look more into that and learn a little bit more about the difference of those 2. Usually for detoxing, I'm using, I'm not using those types of greens anyway, but my patients do ask me about them. So thank you for that reminder, and, I will actually look further into that. So okay, guys. Well, we are coming up on an hour. Oh my goodness, what a great live. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. My email is in the show notes, and there is, you can link to my, if you're already on the newsletter list, you should have gotten a couple of newsletters already. And, um, and then there's a link to the online store in there as well. And Jenny, Jenny's like, "Come on." Oh my gosh. Yes, we're coming up on an, I know, you missed it. I know. I would stay here probably if I was sitting outside and it was summer, and it was a beautiful day. I probably would do that. And also, I'm hoping to have a new computer in the next couple of weeks so that my computer, I can actually take it outside when the weather's nice. So, yeah, I'm on the IT struggle bus over here. So I'm lucky enough to be able to get a live in when I can. So yes. Oh, Kenny need more. You're so sweet. Okay, well, I have a video coming out tomorrow morning. And then, I'll be back. Oh, we'll be back for Chiropractic is Sexy on Thursday. We had to skip last week because Dr. Erica was out of town. And then I'll be back here next Sunday, Kenny. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you were not here, I'd be here by myself. So, appreciate all the questions, all the interaction. By all means, please let me know if you have any questions, any topics that you want me to talk about that I didn't discuss, or you want me to go more in depth on. Let me know. I am here for you to bring you all the information that is going to help you and help optimize your health and your life. So, all right, you guys, love you so much. Talk